Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today is a really special video. Well, not really, because it's just another what if. Today I will be doing part 5 to what if Naruto was a hyuga. And I did see that we passed 15 subs, so soon I will start doing what if Naruto was half Uchiha and half hyuga. And when we hit 20 subs, I will do what if Naruto was a Senju. So yeah. Make sure to like or dislike. So yeah, you know the thing. So yeah. And anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So in the last part, we left off when Sasuke and Gaara's fight finished. So let's continue on from there. Basically, all of a sudden, feathers came out from the sky. Then the crowd fell asleep. And the Jonin and Chunin knew this was a genjutsu, and they broke out of it. Naruto then fell under the genjutsu because Naruto doesn't really know at this point. Even though he did hard training, he doesn't really know actually how to break out of a genjutsu because they never really taught or did genjutsu because he wasn't a genjutsu type. So then Naruto then would basically just fall asleep, and Sakura would wake him up. And then, after that, Kakashi would say to Naruto, go after Sasuke. Naruto would agree, and he would head off to where Sasuke was going. Then, let's go to Sasuke's perspective. Sasuke is fighting Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara. Sasuke just goes through Temari, but he's having a little bit of trouble because Kankuro is there. Gaara isn't awake yet, but he will probably wake up soon. Then Naruto arrived and said, Sasuke, just get Gaara and I'll take care of these two. Sasuke says, alright. You sure you can do it? Naruto says, sure. I can do anything, believe it. Then Sasuke would go to Gaara. Then they would try to block Sasuke's path, but then Naruto would kick them both out of the way. And Naruto would basically just destroy Temari and Kankuro with his Byakugan. Then Naruto and Sasuke would go to Gaara. Then Gaara, at this point, would finally wake up. Then Gaara is pretty angry. Gaara tries to use the sand and make it into needles or like giant spikes and send it at Naruto and Sasuke. But Naruto and Sasuke were able to dodge the spikes decently. Then Naruto would yell out water style, water dragon jutsu. And then Sasuke would yell out fire style, phoenix flower jutsu. But they wouldn't combine this because this wouldn't be a good combination. They'll just use it as separate paths in order to create really good damage. So then Gaara would get hit by this pretty badly, even with his hand covering him. So then Gaara starts transforming into like a half Shukaku cloak. Then Gaara would basically pretty angry. Then Sakura would arrive. Then he would make a giant Shukaku hand and would pin Sakura to a tree. Then Naruto and Sasuke would yell out Chidori. And they would charge at Gaara. But Gaara would be hit by this a little bit. But since he has Shukaku helping him, he would still be able to, hit him. But then Naruto hit his palms, like his chakra points, with his palms. Because he created that jutsu that he can use his Chidori to strike palms, like chakra points. So yeah. So then Naruto then would basically jump back and yell out fire style, fireball jutsu. You'd send it at Gaara. Then Gaara would just transform into Shikaku, the full Shikaku. Then he would go to Naruto and yell out sand coffin. Sasuke can't do anything because the curse mark is taking over him. And he's out of chakra too, as well. Yeah. Then Naruto would yell out summoning jutsu, and he would summon Gamu Bunta. Then Gamu Bunta would transform into the Nine Tails, and then they would basically get a hold of Shikaku. Then Naruto would be able to land a punch on Gaara's face, hit him really hard. Then Gaara would basically catch Naruto in the sand because he's on sand, basically, you know what I mean? But then when he tried to do the sand coffin, Gamu Bunta's tongue covered Naruto. But then Gaara says, "You think I'm a fool?" Then the sand that Naruto is standing on starts rising. Then Gamu Bunta says, "Dang it, kid, you need to do something." Then basically Naruto's stuck, but then he would yell out, "Hey, trigrams bomb rotation," and then he would get into his like QB chakra around him state. And then he would run at Gaara, and then before he could punch him, the sand catched him. But Naruto was still able to at least land a hit by headbutting Gaara. And then the entire Shukaku would go away. Then Ubuntu would basically dispel. And then Naruto and Gaara would be falling down, and they would land on a tree. Then they would jump up in the air, try to punch each other. Naruto would still be able to punch him. And then they would all fall down to the ground. Then Gaara would say, "How? Bruh. Okay. How? How are you this powerful? What makes you so strong?" Then Naruto would reply and say, "I became strong because I need to protect the people who I love. They saved me from myself. They saved me from myself, from getting into the darkness. If they weren't here, then I could have been like you." Then Gaara would understand Naruto's point. And Gaara would basically be, persuaded into the good side, just like in canon. And then Naruto would say, "Well, I'm tired," and then he would pass out. Then Gaara would basically pass out as well, because they fought extra. Gaara had to fight extra, same as Naruto, because he doesn't really want to, win. He wants to win against him and save his friends. But Gaara knows that Naruto's a prodigy, so he has to try a lot harder. But I mean, he was trying using all his strength when in canon. But he had to use more Shikaku's power. Shikaku had to help him a little bit more. So yeah. So then, basically, Sasuke would just get Naruto's body. Pick up Naruto, and then would basically just take him to the hospital. Then, after a day, Naruto would wake up, and he would see Sasuke and Sakura at his door. Then, basically, Sasuke would say, "It's about time you woke up." Then Naruto would say, "Wait, how long have I been asleep?" Sasuke said that you've been asleep for about 18 or 20 something hours. That Naruto would then say, that's basically a day. And say, yeah, get into these clothes. And then Naruto would say, well, why would I need to get into those clothes? Those are funeral clothes. Then Sasuke would say, oh yeah, you don't know. The third Hokage passed away from his fight against that snake guy. What? The Hokage passed away? Then Sasuke would reply, yes. You know that person that we fought in the Chunin exams? That woman who looked like a snake? Then Naruto would say, yeah, what about her? Yeah, that's the person who killed the Hokage. Naruto is pretty furious. And then he would be pretty sad. Then he would just get into his clothes and head to the Hokage funeral. Then, after a couple hours of the funeral, Naruto would head to Ichiraku Ramen and would eat there. Then Jiraiya would appear and say, so you eat nothing but ramen, kid. And then Naruto would say, yeah, what about it? And then Jiraiya would say, alright, so, would you go on a trip with me to find a really special lady? Naruto would make a rough face and he would say, I don't want to literally deal with your pervy tactics, pervy sage. Alright, then Jiraiya would be pissed off and would say, don't call me pervy sage ever again, you brat. And then Naruto would reply in an angry tone. It would say, who are you calling a brat? Pervy sage. Then pervy sage would say, or Jiraiya would say, fine, I'll let you win this time. But the next time you do it, don't think I'll be that easy on you. Then Naruto would say, yeah. Then Naruto then would basically just go on with Jiraiya. But then Kakashi met with Itachi and Kisame. With Kurenai and Asuma, they fought. Then when Kakashi was cast by Tsukuyomi, Guy appeared. And then he would fight with Kisame a little bit. And then Kisame and Itachi would flee. And they would realize that the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is in the village currently. So yeah. Then they would look for Naruto and they would have his exact location. And Naruto and Jiraiya would basically just be in a small town. And then Jiraiya would rent like a hotel, like a motel room and stuff for like a day or two. Then Naruto then would stay in there because Jiraiya told him to. And then Naruto just thought that he's just going to try and look for, or like, look for like a wife or something, or like spy on like people in like the hot springs. So yeah. Then basically Naruto then would basically just meditate and think on how he can train his Byakugan, and yeah, and he wants to become Kage and stuff, and he kind of also wants to become the Hyuga clan leader. So yeah. And then basically Naruto then would just get a knock on his door. Then Naruto would say, how is Pervy Sage back already? I might get a suspicious look. This could be a little bit suspicious because Pervy Sage does his research, whatever, for a very long time. So then he would activate his Byakugan, and you would see two men there, one with a giant sword, and one with just a ring on his finger. And and eyes, with the same eyes looking like Sharingan. And they would both have robes. And then the Naruto would say, "This definitely isn't your eye. I need to make a shadow clone, but silently." And then I would jump out of the window. Then Naruto would do that. And he would jump out of the window, walk silently, and the clone would close it. Then he would get the door. And then basically Kisame would say, "So, this is the Nine Tails Jinchuriki." And then Itachi said, "Yes, this is." Then Kisame would say, "Don't worry, we won't kill you. We'll just need to cut off a leg." Then the Naruto clone would be pretty frightened, but also serious. Then he would activate the Byakugan. And then when Kisame would try to cut his leg off, he would yell a chakra's power rotation. But that thing can absorb chakra. And then it would just break through the chakra's power rotation, and it would hit the shadow clone. But the shadow clone would poof. Then Naruto would set some traps in that hallway, and then kunais and shurikens would sent to their way and stuff, and they were able to dodge and block all those kunais easily. Then Itachi would say, "Watch out for a trap, Kisame. This kid is smart." And then Itachi would look for chakra signatures with his Sharingan, and he would see Naruto's chakra signature, and it was it's Naruto because he can sense a lot of chakra inside of him. So he knows that's definitely the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. And then Itachi would say, "That way." And Naruto would be running, and then Naruto would make multiple shadow clone jutsus with portioning his chakra inside of them, like he did with Neji and Kanon in the Chunin exams. So yeah, so it can be harder for them to know who he is and stuff. So who's the real one, basically. So yeah. Then Itachi would say, "He's making shadow clones, so this might be tough." Then they would just destroy all the shadow clones, and then they would fight Naruto. So then Kisame would say, "So, I guess we don't need to just cut off a leg. We also need to cut off a hand or arm." So then Kisame would run to Naruto's way. Then Kisame would try to swing. Naruto was barely able to dodge it because Kisame has really fast speed and has lots of chakra, and he can also he's also has a lot of strength. Then Naruto would yell at water dragon jutsu. He would send it at Kisame. Kisame would really be surprised by this, but Kisame would just dodge it, and then he would absorb some of the chakra from he would absorb some of the chakra from the water dragon jutsu because, of course, Samehada. But Samehada, I think Samehada can do that, but I don't think it can absorb that much chakra at once, you know what I mean? So yeah. So then Naruto would summon some Nine Tails chakra around him. Then Samehada would go there, but Naruto is smart, and he knows that Samehada can absorb chakra. So yeah, you wouldn't do that. So then Samehada would try to eat Naruto's chakra, like Nine Tails chakra, but Naruto would dodge it, and then he would try to hit some of his chakra points and stuff. But Kisame was able to dodge this easily, and then he would knee Naruto in the stomach, and then he would kick him to a tree. Then that Naruto would poof, and then he would be surprised, and then more shadow clones would appear, and then they would all create Chidoris, and then some of them will also shoot fireballs too. And then they would all go to Itachi and Kisame. They were pretty surprised by this, but they were able to dodge and just destroy all of these clones easily. Then, basically, Jiraiya and Sasuke appeared. Sasuke would say, Itachi, I've been waiting for this moment. Then he would yell out, Chidori! And then, basically, Sasuke would go to Itachi, and then Itachi would grab Sasuke's Chidori and hit it to a tree. And then he would grab his throat and then like pin him to a tree like that. And he would say he's too weak. Then Jiraiya would do like that toad mouth jutsu and stuff for them to be stuck. But then Itachi would use Amaterasu to break through, like, like burn through, like, the toad mouth jutsu. And then they would flee. And then Naruto would say, what kind of flames are that? And then Jiraiya would say, don't touch them. Those are really dangerous. It's Amaterasu. They can burn anything. So yeah, and that's where I'm going to leave it off for today's video. Hope you guys like it. So yeah, and anyways, without further ado, peace.